Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the Caribbean. It is Tuesday evening, May 30, 2023. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video, share it, subscribe and tap the notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I post a brand new video. Feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section letting me know that there's been liking your ear recently. Also feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the day in your specific area. I respond to all comments and I really live for this stuff. Alright, so let us take a look at the United States Climate Prediction Center's Global Tropics Hazard Outlook, and we can see that for the week of June 7th to the 13th, they're highlighting that area across the Caribbean. We see some browns across the Caribbean. If we take a look at the key at the bottom, the browns represent below average rainfall. Taking a look at June 14th to June 20th, there's nothing highlighted across the majority of the Caribbean. We see the below average rainfall across sections of the Gulf of Mexico, as well as some above normal rainfall right there to the northeast of the Caribbean. So we'll see exactly how that unfolds. We know how these predictions from the Climate Prediction Center go. Sometimes they verify, especially when they're this long range, and sometimes they don't. We'll see exactly what unfolds. Alright, so let us take a look at the sea surface temperature anomalies across the entire Western Hemisphere. We can see that across the equatorial Pacific we have a lot of warm waters. We have a developing El Nino, and we can also see that we have a lot of warm waters across the Caribbean and the main development region. So there's a chance that we might have some conflicting disagreement or something happening that will be, confusing meteorologists for the upcoming hurricane season, because there's an El Nino coming, and usually El Nino suppresses what's happening across the Atlantic, but at the same time the Atlantic is very warm. When it comes to the El Ninos, we have this high pressure ridge in the eastern Pacific that causes the jet stream to bend across the United States, bring a lot of wind shear across the Caribbean that destroys the storms. But at the same time, right now, the sea surface temperatures are quite hot across the main development region. So it will also enhance majority of the tropical waves that are coming off of the African continent, the African monsoon, bringing more tropical storms or maybe even hurricanes across the main development region. But at the same time, the El Nino is going to be causing a lot of wind shear that could be destroying all of these hurricanes. And I made sure that I explained it for my viewers, especially that one commenter on Instagram asking how the El Nino would be affecting the season for this year. So this is what usually happens, but the fact remains that the sea surface temperatures are quite warm across the main development region at this time. So there might be some contradicting factors happening while we're having an El Nino year, especially considering that these spring sea surface temperatures across the Caribbean and the main development region are somewhat similar to what we saw in 2010, 2017, and 2020, which we remember is one of the most robust hurricane seasons in most recent past. So we'll see exactly what happens when the hurricane season starts the day after tomorrow. Alright, so taking a look at the U.S. National Hurricane Center's 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook, we saw that they've highlighted a recent new spot across the Gulf of Mexico into sections of Florida right there. And we even saw that on the satellite images that we showed earlier. See if I can bring it up right here. Lots of clouds right there across sections of the Gulf of Mexico. So it is this area that they've highlighted, and it's predicted to move towards the northeast or the east northeast across sections of Florida, and then possibly develop, even although it has a 20% chance over the next couple of days. We'll see exactly what unfolds with that. 'Tis the season for these things to happen, especially with the hurricane season getting ready to begin. Alright, so taking a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can see that that first tropical wave that has left the coast of Africa has finally made its way right there to the south of Haiti, far south of Haiti that is, across sections of northern South America. That's the thing about these tropical waves. These tropical waves are so buried deep down and attached to the intertropical convergence zone at this time of year. The majority of them are crashing into South America. But we still have some of these clouds that are moving and curving with the high pressure ridge sending some of the rainfall and the moisture from these tropical waves to the northwest across sections of the Windward and Leeward Islands. So, as we can see, we still have that high pressure ridge that's still sending a lot of easterly trade winds across the main development region into the Caribbean. We can also see that we have numerous troughs and areas of low pressure across the area right there across the eastern United States. Taking a look at the visible satellite images before the sun went down, we can see those clouds spinning away associated with those areas of low pressure across the eastern and even the southern United States. There are also multiple troughs across majority of the western and central Caribbean. That's how we see so much cloud cover across those areas. Lots of showers and thunderstorms embedded within them as well. And just as what we stated, there's a lot of tropical wave activity going on to the far south of the main development region. And some of these clouds are being pushed towards the northwest intersection of the Leeward and Windward Islands. So we might even get some more rainfall into especially eastern section of those Windward Islands, so maybe St. Lucia, Barbados, portions of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Trinidad and Tobago, and Grenada might get in on some of that. Alright, so let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for Tuesday. It was stated that we would have received some morning rainfall across sections of southern and eastern Jamaica, even section of western Jamaica. If you remember, one point in the video was stated to supposed to receive rainfall in the morning hours. Then especially during the afternoon, we'd have some of that rainfall across northern and western parishes. And what ended up happening? A post was made on our Twitter page at 4:30 a.m. highlighting some rainfall coming into sections of southwestern Jamaica, or maybe western Jamaica at most. So we even had some confirmation that it indeed rained across sections of Negril and sections of Westmoreland, Sablamar, and even Hanover as well. Skipping ahead to 7:31 a.m., we had some more clouds coming in from the southeast, bringing some isolated showers to sections of St. Thomas, sections of Clarendon, and St. Catherine as well. Then skipping ahead to 12:35 p.m., we had a lot of buildup of clouds across those very spots that we predicted for the afternoon hours. Sections of especially northern Jamaica, look at those deep convections, lots of blacks within them as well that indicate the heaviest of thunderstorms, not to mention the sparkling white dots that indicate lots of lightning flashes and strikes within them. And then even at 1:35 p.m. we even had some more rainfall coming into sections of some southern parishes in Jamaica. So there's so much convergence going on across the Jamaica area with all of the moisture, and the southeasterly flow across the island is contributing to more of the rainfall coming in from off the sea. So that made for this post from See Jamaica, considering that we have a new sponsorship, it makes sense that we're crediting our sources. So this is a live stream on their YouTube channel of the Kingston Harbor, and we saw that today at about 1:35 p.m. we had a lot of rainfall coming into sections of downtown Kingston. So usually we see lots of buildings right there representing downtown Kingston, maybe the Scotia building or the Grace Kennedy building or the Digital building, not to mention some ships in the harbor. But look at what we see, lots of blinding rainfall. It's all gray, it's all white right there across sections of downtown Kingston for today. So they indeed got in on some amount of moderate to heavy rainfall. Not to mention the halfway tree live stream as well. The same time, 1:49 p.m. we see lots of blinding rainfall across sections of halfway tree, lots of cars stuck in traffic right there. And even on the crossroad camera we saw a lot of rainfall right there at about 1:44 p.m. Look at all that rainfall leaning from the right moving on to the left, everybody taking shelter right there on the old NCB building right there. So we indeed had that rainfall across the island for today, some heavy well needed showers especially across southern Jamaica. And even in the afternoon, the late afternoon hours, we even had some more posts coming in. The Doppler radar images highlighting light, moderate, and even some heavy rainfall across sections of most parishes in Jamaica. This is as wet as it gets. Look at that, across sections of most areas. So only a few persons could say that they didn't get rainfall. Today it was across many areas, if not light, moderate or heavy rainfall, not to mention overcast skies. So they must have gotten in on some amount of rainfall for today. And we had our commenters on our Twitter page confirming the rainfall. Sash stating Spain rain nice. Makeda stating it's raining. Cats and dogs. Hero circle downtown. Lamless raining heavily in St. Thomas. Courtney Stone raining now in Cornwall Court. Khalifa raining. Paulette, it's raining right now in St. James. And Andre stating raining. Not to mention Lamont stating a little rain in Portland. Skipping ahead to another post, Miss Marvel stating continuous medium to heavy showers for about 2 hours now. Mobay suburbs. Bay cookies and cream on and off moderate rainfall in Edgewater, Portmore. But I just heard over on Waterford side it's heavy rain. Miss Hot Cocoa stating Portmore finally got some. Then Lenroy stating halfway through at Washway. I am Danel stating rain blessing. Rude Boy stating showers of rain. Blessed One stating wet. Level 1 Sun stating rain. And Ricardo James stating yes, Kingston bingo today. Taking a look at the Instagram comments, Cherry Lip stating St. Anne having storming or loving it. Portmore Bell stating Greater Portmore getting rain. Not That's Young stating raining. 1876 Bay stating some drizzle in East Kingston. Jody stating it's raining in St. Andrew. Diana stating heavy showers in northern St. Catherine. And there are many more comments, but there is a little time to read them. And if we even take a look at our Facebook page, we even got in on some comments right there. Shade stating raining in St. Catherine heavy. Then Chrissy stating it's raining heavily in Hanover. K. Watto stating rain in St. James. Shawnee Reynolds stating yes, rain in St. Andrew. Best shower of rain since May start. And if we actually take a look at the visible satellite images before the sun went down, we can see where we indeed had those clouds coming in from the southeast across the island. Then across northern Jamaica, we had majority of those clouds becoming thunder clouds or cumulonimbus clouds, and then they were being blown off by the upper level winds and the wind shear, pushing them off towards the east. And we still had some more rainfall coming into sections of some southern parishes in the afternoon, and we're indeed grateful for that. And we even had the confirmation on the infrared satellite images where we saw majority of those clouds being sheared off towards the east-northeast with all of those colors, not to mention the sparkling white dots that are indicative of lightning flashes or strikes. Taking a look at the latest Doppler radar images right now, we can still see that we have some more rainfall lingering across sections of the island, especially southern Jamaica. Right there's a section of Westmoreland, section of maybe northwestern St. Elizabeth, Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Thomas, getting in a some amount of rainfall as we speak. And if we actually take a live look at the See Jamaica camera, we can see some of that rainfall still affecting sections of halfway tree at this time. We can also see some of that rainfall affecting sections of, let's say, Crossroad as well. So we see a lot of shiny wet roads indicative of some amount of rainfall still being had across those spots. We also see some windshield wipers spinning away as well. So we definitely are in store for some more rainfall across the island for tonight, and we'll see how that goes. Taking a look at the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, this map shows all the rainfall that we got for the past 24 hours, and this indeed confirms that we had the heaviest of the rainfall across sections of northern Jamaica. We even had some reports of flash flooding, especially across sections of St. James and St. Mary. And we also had a lot of rainfall on the south coast as well right there, so it makes sense that those areas are shaded as well. Taking a look at the temperatures for tonight, we can see that we have 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 26 degrees Celsius in Kingston, and as usual as the night progresses, these temperatures should be getting lower. Taking a look at the temperatures for tomorrow, we can see that we have the temperatures on the Euro showing some above normal temperatures across Jamaica, while the GFS is showing average to slightly below average temperatures. So we'll see exactly what unfolds with that. We know that when there's some amount of disagreement, we don't know which map to to have more faith in. Either way, we'll see exactly what unfolds on Wednesday. Taking a look at the average temperatures for the month of May, considering that tomorrow is the final day of May, we're about to head into up to 90 degrees Fahrenheit temperatures. So I guess this is our final day of experiencing 32 degrees Celsius. We know that 89 degrees Fahrenheit is about the equivalent of 32 degrees Celsius. So I'm guessing that we're about to jump into 33 degrees Celsius territory as we head into the summer month of June. Taking a look at the dry air map, we can see a lot of moist air across sections of Jamaica still, with the driest air across majority of the Leeward Islands right there, as indicated by the yellows. And we know that the more red and white it gets within those reds, that's the driest air that we expect. Taking a look at the Saharan dust forecast, we can see that majority of the Saharan dust that we had across portions of the eastern main development region yesterday have now made their way across portions of the main or the central sections closer to the western portion of the main development region, closer to the Caribbean. So 2 p.m. on Wednesday has more of the dust coming into the Caribbean or heading towards the Caribbean. But for Jamaica, we're still in the clear for that time. Taking a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, we can see that we have 0 to 1 meter wave heights in the forecast, and we see that on both the Euro and the GFS malls, and that's due to the fact that we'll still be experiencing some weak winds anywhere from, let's say, 10 to 15 knots at most, coming in from the south and the east. Alright, so considering that we still have that wind shear coming in from the southwest or the west-southwest across the island, we're going to be experiencing something similar to what we've been seeing across the island for today, where in the afternoon we have that convection developing and then being blown off towards the east-northeast. So we still have some more of that to receive for tomorrow, especially across northern Jamaica. Taking a look at the rain forecast for tonight into tomorrow. So we saw that we're still experiencing some amount of rainfall across the island tonight already, but we still have more rainfall to receive tomorrow. We can see on the Euro, this is valid at 1 a.m. tonight, Jamaica time. Lots more rainfall surrounding the island. As we know, the Euro is always more robust than the GFS. The GFS is showing something similar with rainfall still surrounding the island or still lingering across the island. But as you could see, the GFS is a bit less robust than the Euro as it relates to the rainfall for tomorrow. We're definitely going to be getting in on some more rainfall tomorrow, but it won't be as robust as the rainfall that we got on Tuesday. We can see the Euro showing some rainfall across eastern, central, and western Jamaica. GFS showing something similar. And as usual, the heaviest of rainfall should be across sections of northern and western Jamaica, especially considering that's where majority of the air is going to be piling up. That's where we're going to have that daytime heating, leading to some amount of afternoon convection and the thunderclouds forming, especially across northern Jamaica. Then the wind shear blowing those off towards the east, northeast as usual. And it makes sense that the accumulated precipitation forecast is this robust, showing so much up to an inch or more of rainfall across sections of the island, especially considering the rainfall that's happening right now up to tonight into tomorrow, and then again tomorrow afternoon. So all of this is the rainfall from now up until 10 p.m. on Wednesday. So it makes sense that we're seeing so much of this in the forecast, and we know that we might even see some isolated flash flooding taking place. And speaking of the isolated flash flooding, a post was recently made on our Twitter page highlighting the forecast for the next 3 days actually. So it states here, high amounts of rainfall are in the forecast for sections of Jamaica, especially northern and eastern parishes over the next 3 days. Isolated flash flooding is possible. If you must go out, bring your umbrella, and if you come upon flooded roadways, turn around, don't drown. So basically the same maps that were just shown, but in accumulated precipitation forecast terms. And we can see a lot of rainfall, even up to 80 millimeters or more of rainfall affecting some spots across Jamaica. That's on the Euro model. GFS showing something similar, keeping in mind that these maps go out all the way up to 10 p.m. on Friday. So it's not all rainfall all the time for the next 3 days, because tomorrow is not going to be as robust as Tuesday. But Thursday and Friday should be, that's when we're going to be getting in on some more heavy heavy rainfall like what we got on Tuesday across the island, and some of these rainfall rates could trigger some amount of flash flooding taking place across the island. So ensure that you take necessary precautions if you live in low-lying or flood-prone areas so that you're not that drastically affected. And we're indeed grateful for the rainfall that we've been getting thus far, considering that we're in our secondary rainy season, the month of May, where we usually receive up to 230 millimeters of rainfall for the entire month. And we'll take all the rainfall that we can get to put a dent in the current hydrological drought that we're experiencing until we get to our primary rainy season in the months of September, October, and maybe even November as well. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let's focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So as you can see, as stated, we have some amount of clouds coming in from the southeast associated with those tropical waves to affect sections of the Windward and Leeward Islands. You can also see a lot of clouds right there across sections of Venezuela, sections of Guyana, Suriname, French Guiana as usual, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, not to mention Guatemala and Belize, not to mention the Yucatan Peninsula getting in on some amount of overcast skies and rainfall. Look at the Cayman Islands finally getting in on some rainfall as well. The Gulf of Mexico, Cuba, the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, sections of Puerto Rico as well. And even if we take a look at the infrared satellite images, we can see a lot of lightning flashes and lightning strikes, not to mention those reds and the blacks within those reds that indicate some deep convection across those very spots that were just mentioned. Taking a look at the Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean from about 1:30 p.m. today, we can see that we indeed had some rainfall across the Leeward Islands, so sections of Puerto Rico, the eastern Puerto Rico that is, sections of the US Virgin Islands, Guadeloupe got in on some rainfall, Antigua, Barbuda, Anguilla got some rainfall as well. You can also see a lot of rainfall that we had across sections of Barbados today, and they're indeed going to be getting in on some more rainfall. You see that flow coming in from the southeast, just like what we saw on the visible satellite images, considering those clouds from the tropical wave are pushing all of that towards the northwest, especially considering the curvature that the high pressure ridge has across those spots, expecting some amount of southeasterly flow, so it makes sense that the rain and the clouds are coming from the very same direction. You can also see some rainfall across sections of St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines as well. Taking a look at the wider view of Doppler radar images, we can see that rainfall across sections of the Yucatan Peninsula, Guatemala, Belize, Cuba, the Cayman Islands, Western Jamaica, Nicaragua, sections of the Eastern Caribbean that we just mentioned, sections of Guyana, and sections of Suriname as well. So it indeed confirms what we saw on the satellite images. Taking a look at this temperature forecast, we can see that we have consensus with some amount of above normal temperatures across the eastern to the central Caribbean right there. So anywhere from Puerto Rico eastward and southward. And we can also see some above normal temperatures across sections of the Central America area. So anywhere from Honduras westward, Guatemala, sections of Belize, Mexico, while we see some amount of below average temperatures right there across sections of the southern and the eastern United States. Taking a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, we can see that we have the weakest or the lowest wave heights still across sections of the Western Caribbean as well as the Gulf of Mexico. So even portion of the Bahamas, that's where we'll be having the lowest wave height, anywhere from 0 to 0.5 of a meter, while the central to the eastern Caribbean, where we have those blue shadings, that's where we're going to be receiving 1 meter wave heights or slightly higher. And that's due to the fact that the strongest winds are still coming in from the southeast, just like what we saw on the rain forecast. Still have some rain winds coming in from the east or the east southeast right there, averaging anywhere from 10 to 15 knots. Taking a look at the rain forecast, so we can see that we indeed have some more rainfall to receive across sections of Martinique, St. Lucia, sections of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Barbados, sections of Trinidad, sections of Guyana, Suriname, and French Guiana, especially the coastal areas of those countries. We can also see a lot of rainfall across Cuba. Some purples in there that indicate up to 3 inches of rainfall or more. More rainfall to receive across sections of Jamaica, sections of the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, Florida, sections of the waters of the Gulf of Mexico, Yucatan Peninsula, Honduras, Nicaragua, El Salvador, Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, and Venezuela as usual. And we see consensus on both maps. I know that when we have consensus or agreement like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.